My grandmother took a secret to her grave, and we just found out what it was. She passed back in 2002, and at the time we thought she was born in 1933. We knew her name, we knew that she was an orphan, and she was an only child, that we had no other family connections to her whatsoever, and that her family line lived and died with her. So find me confused when our family gets results back from a 23andMe test telling us that we are African American when my grandmother said that we were English. And I know looking at me, you're going to be very confused because I am too. And currently my family is still figuring out all the details, so I don't have all the information. 23andMe matched my family up with a family in Virginia, which isn't too strange because my grandmother and my grandfather both met in Maryland and got married and ended up moving across the country. So when this family starts pulling out pictures of my grandmother and her 15 siblings, safe to say we were a little shocked. It turns out that Millicent Vaughn was born Mammy Vaughn back in 1927, not 33. She was born to a family of 15 children, all African American, living in Virginia. While her parents did die when she was young, she was not an orphan and an only child like she said she was. She had people taking care of her, and she had a whole family. It turns out that she had decided to run away from her family and completely exorcise herself from her identity. She picked up a new name, she picked up a new race, and she completely erased who she was. So now I have a whole new family, and it's surreal and it's strange, and there's this part of me that doesn't really know who I am. And I think what surprises me the most is the fact that her story is not uncommon for the US at that time. Because she was white passing, she chose to completely reinvent herself and go by a completely different name and racial identity just to create a better life for herself. And while I'm incredibly grateful for the privilege that her decision provided for me, I'm also incredibly sad and confused and excited because I have a whole new family that I didn't know that I had. We're still uncovering details and we're still learning so much, but sharing her story, I'm hopeful will bring other people to find out about their families and maybe uncover similar stories. No one should ever have to feel the need to completely change their identity and step away from their race and their entire family just to find a better life. That is heartbreaking and that is so sad, and that was so common at the time. I'm heartbroken for my grandmother since she never got to actually live her life as herself. But I'm so excited as for what this means for my family moving forward. As for anyone with similar stories, I would love to hear what you've experienced because this is just the beginning for me and I just thought I'd share.
Oh, God. We're cooked.
All right, this message is for Charlamagne the God. As you know, and a lot of other people know, that I have 50 to life in prison, framed and wrongfully convicted under the office of Kamala Harris. Right? 4 years ago, we did an interview, and I remember you saying that you believe 100%ly that Kamala should give me an apology for what had happened to me under her administration. So I know you're doing the town hall tomorrow, the audio town hall with her. I would love for you to ask her this question. Does she has any remorse for the people like myself and others who were wrongfully convicted under her administration in San Francisco? And if she does she have any reason to why something like this could have happened, not only to me, but to other people as well? And where does she stand on helping people that's wrongfully convicted under her administration come home from it?
Ooh. Ooh.
Here comes a new challenger.
I kinda hate that Kamala Khan has to now pander heavy to black male vote just because these imbeciles are pressed about stimmies or stimulus checks and child support. She later stated, for anyone who feels a way about this tweet, clearly the numbers are trending in a manner which shows she's lacking support in that demographic. Stop getting annoyed by the convo and start talking to your friends or homeboys who think Trump is funny or still wants stimulus checks. Again, some of the black male issues with this election has nothing to do with Gaza. One of the main issues is she's a woman. Some think she's a cop, and some don't even believe she's black. And unfortunately, some still do believe the reason the economy was better with Trump. So this is why I had these, in a sense, paired up, right? So you saw the previous video where the black man who was wrongly convicted had to serve time, right? And that was under the time when Kamala was working, right? When she was there, California, right? When she could right wrongs and do this and do that. But as she stated before, she literally can control somebody's life with a pen stroke. And she did that. And more than likely, Kamala is not going to have a response to this, because if she gives a response to this, then many other black men who were wrongly convicted and had to serve time wrongfully are going to want to speak to her. They're going to want her to answer directly for that. And again, I wanted to pair this up with this image that you can see in front of you, because for whatever reason, you have, those black women out there that feel that black men are only just focused on stimulus checks, aka free money, and, child support. No, it's a lot more than that. Black men are worried about jobs, they're worried about the family, they're worried about housing, they're worried about education, they're worried about neighborhoods, they're worried about debt, they're worried about this economy. They're also worried about the fact that this government, all of them, are still allowing black men to be wrongfully convicted, and black men are wrongly serving time for things that they did not do. And yet those black men are meant to stay into jails and prisons for 10, 15, 25, 30, 50, 60, and in some extent 70 years. 70 years worth of life gone because somebody just wanted to throw somebody behind bars. Do you think that any of the black women that are commenting this type of stuff that you see in front of you online, do you think that they care about the black men that are wrongly incarcerated and convicted of crimes that they didn't commit? No. Do you think that they care that these black men, these sons, these fathers, these uncles, these grandfathers, these best friends, these stepbrothers, do you think that any of these black women that are stating things like this, do you think that they care that those black men are being taken away from the community? No. Do you think that these same black women care that you have a lot of innocent black men that are going to be sentenced either for a life term or for death row? No. So again, like I said before, the setup is real. The setup is real because this woman is making it seem as though that black men are just so simplistic, that she just knows 100% what black men are voting for. This is not even that. And it's the craziest thing. This is what happens when you're so far out of touch with the men of your community that you are just trying to theorize. And you don't even need to theorize, because I'm pretty sure that she has males that she either knows, that she has some familiarity with. She has males in her family or ones that she may have dated. I'm pretty sure if she really wanted to know and get an answer, she could talk to one of them. But as always, that never tends to be the case, because whenever a woman has a thought that she knows, that's all there is. She knows. So it has to be right. There is no area for it to potentially be wrong or incorrect, or for it to be corrected or rewritten. None of that. It just is what it is. So this is why you can see statements like this online, where you will have those black women deciding that they want to generalize black men. And if black men are not specifically voting Democrat, then obviously they have to be voting for Trump. They obviously have to be voting Republican, right? Like I said, it's crazy out here. It used to be a point in time when people would vote and people would just leave it as that. But now we're not at that time anymore. Now we're using voting as a way to, in a sense, divide people even further. I'm pretty sure that this happened, I don't know, back during 2020 and 2021, right? When it dealt with medical and people wanted to do the exact same thing. People wanted to talk the exact same way online, but it was just dealing with personal medical beliefs. And you see how that got everybody. But like I said, it is what it is. Now for the last one, who pretty much for me is reminiscent of Paris Jackson. I find it a little bit odd and a little bit weird whenever I happen to hear these stories. And for me, it feels as if we are inching closer and closer to a potentiality or a realization of some type of monies taking place. Because I really feel like you're going to have more people like this come out and be like, hey, my great grandmother or my grandmother, she was, actually black, and that also makes us black as well. No, 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 no. There's a percentage. There's a percentage. We're not going to play these games. We're not going to try to act like people are just going to be so welcoming and accepting. The only way that people are welcoming and really 100% accepting of the black side or the black part of their blood is if they can monetize it, if they can profit. Because I'm just going to be real. That's the only value that people see when it deals with black Americans. If you can monetize it, if you can profit, if you can put a dollar symbol right next to, after, or in the middle, somewhere around it, that's the only way that people will be fully accepting and ecstatic and happy that they have some type of black heritage. Other than that, people are going to just shut up and act like it doesn't exist. They're going to act like it doesn't exist. But I said this years ago, that the moment in time that reparations is on the table, or we're actually going to start to receive reparations, you're going to start to see so many people start to raise their hands and start to jump around and say that, oh yeah, 1 drop rule, 2 drop rule. Oh, my great great grandpappy, yeah, he was a slave back in the day. I was ashamed to say it, but I'm proud to. I'm telling you, there's going to be a lot of people, and they're going to look just like her. They're going to look just like her. So my main thing is this: what have you always stated that you were, you and your family? What have you guys always stated? What's on the birth certificate? What's on the state ID? What's on your job applications? Like I said, all of this is history. You can't erase that, because that would take a lot of time to do. What has all of that information basically stated? If you have always gone with white, stay as white. You can decide to deep dive into whatever side of your bloodline that you have, but you don't need to add that on to what it is that you've already claimed to be. And please don't sit up there and try to say that you're biracial, because you're not. I'm just gonna be real. I'm just, because I don't got time. I don't care how nobody feels about it. I do not care. I'm just gonna be real, because there's too many things on the table. There is too much at stake for people to start trying to sympathize and make mistakes right now. Be like, oh, that's unfair because this, that. No, no, no. Because if it was any other nationality, they would make sure that if you're black, you're going to stay black. They are not going to allow you to get any scent, a red scent, to see a scent. They're not even going to be able to allow you to theorize what a scent looks like. That's what they're going to do. Because let it be at any moment in time in history when Asians, don't matter if it was the Japanese or the Chinese, that they were able to get any type of monies when it specifically dealt with their internment here in the United States. And I wanted to try to claim for it. Do you know that I would have to go through a whole bunch of stuff? I would have to have fields of paperwork. And even then, I would still get questioned. Even if visibly you can actually see it, but due to the fact that you got that tan there, how Asian are you, sir? Because it seems to us that you're looking pretty black American. Like I said before, even when it deals with black people, knowing the fact that they have indigenous blood, right? That they could be to and from different tribes. in the United States, native tribes. They got pictures and everything. People will still question black people like, you're not native. And the main people that will question black people and tell them that they're not native are the Caucasians. Isn't that interesting? Isn't that interesting? $5 Indians telling you that you're not native. Wow. Wow. And that's the same group that's pretty much not native to anywhere on this planet. But I digress. But like I said, I'm not up for this. I'm just not, because I know even if I had ancestry in other places that I could trace, I'm not going to be able to get any type of monies, reparations, or anything directly from that. And a lot of those times, those individuals are not going to be fully accepting of you. They're just not. Case in point, look at the Italians. Look at the Sicilians. Woo! No, nobody wants to pay attention to the truth, and nobody wants to be honest about nothing. But like I said, that's on them, and I let that be exactly where it is. So if everybody else is able to deny and say what's true and what's not true, Black Americans have that exact same right as everybody else. It ain't up for a debate. But anyways, let me know what you guys think about this video and everything that I stated in the comment description below. And as always, peace, love, and stay tuned for the next video.